And now, words of wisdom with Adam Carriker.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Marianne Williamson.
True words of wisdom today on Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player and a weight loss champion. He's Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker.
Howdy.
I'm former wrestling announcer turned weight loss champion Chuck Carroll. This here, Fourth and Pain, be sure to like us on Facebook and whatever else you do, like us as well. Each and every Sunday morning, 1067 The Fan, bright and early, Adam. 8 o'clock, set your alarms. It's maybe even a good show to listen as you're going to church.
Absolutely. We'll get you in the right mind to praise the Lord or Buddha, whoever you're going to worship.
We're positive individuals, and I'm positive right now, Adam, that it is time to do some debating. And I want to travel up I-95 and talk about our old friend, our good buddy, a man that definitely loves the Lord himself. We're talking about one Mr. Timothy Tebow.
I have a feeling we're going to be trying to figure out where he's going.
I have a sneaking suspicion he will not be back in New York, and I believe that that is a mutual decision by both the Jets and Mr. Tebow himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that they're on the same page. I think that relationship is ended, shall we say?
Ended is going to put it mildly. I believe that ship sailed about 3/4 of the way through the season. You remember late in the year there were reports that he asked not to even be put into wildcat formations after McElroy got hurt. Sanchez again becomes the de facto starter, and then all of a sudden this report comes out and Tim Tebow says, "Hey, if I'm not starting, I don't want to be put in at all."
Well, I think it was interesting. The one game that they put in the backup to replace Sanchez when he's struggling is the game that Tebow is not suited up. And then Greg becomes a starter over Tim Tebow. And then Sanchez is the starter over Tebow. So I can understand his frustration. He's a good guy, tries to do all the right things, and he's just frustrated.
Well, if not New York, Adam, where? I mean, there are a number of teams that need quarterbacks. Kansas City appears to be one. I've seen Jacksonville has been floated out there. But where in the world is Tim Tebow going to be playing next season?
Where and what? What position is he going to be playing? There are some rumors out there that maybe the guy should change position if he wants to stay in the NFL. There are some guys who think that he could stay as a quarterback. What is your position on his position?
My position is this. His time in Denver, the year that he was able to guide them to the postseason, my man, that was what we call in the business a fluke. And if he wants any sort of future in the NFL, he's going to have to do it not as a fullback, not as a wide receiver, certainly not as a quarterback, but Tim Tebow's only chance to remain in the pros, hear me now, tight end. Tight end. He's too big to be fullback.
A tight end?
Too big to be a wide receiver.
Has he ever played tight end?
It doesn't matter. He's got a tight end's body, and I'm saying he's got a better shot at finding a spot on a roster as a tight end, despite not having any experience, than he does suiting up and going under center at any point this or next season.
Well, that's interesting. I think he's just a football player. I think he could play as a maybe a big third down back or fullback. I mean, Michael Robinson, who was a captain for the Seahawks, who used to be a quarterback at Penn State, is now their fullback, and he's mashing people. He could even go play linebacker if he wanted, but I honestly think he took a team that was 1-4. 1-4, and he, out of the next 11 games, was 7-4. He took that team to the playoffs. He beat the number 1 ranked defense in the league and the Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. Now, the Broncos eliminated them in the second round, but he did things with that team that Kyle Orton couldn't do, that a more conventional quarterback couldn't do. To me, the guy should still get a shot as a quarterback. The guy can still play.
I think that the stain that's going to linger on him now that he's had this big old failure in New York is going to carry throughout his career. Whatever magic he had in Denver
How is it a
is
failure?
gone.
He never got a
gone.
shot.
Doesn't matter. There is that
How does
stigma.
it not matter?
The stigma which was killed
He
because
never
of his
was given a chance.
the stigma that was killed because he got that chance and he had that success in Denver, forget about that. That has all been marred by what happened in New York.
So if you're a GM, you only bring him on to hold for the field goal kicker, is what you're saying.
I mean, he is a freak show for the preseason at this point. A freak
Those
show
are some
for the
harsh words.
preseason.
I think he should get a shot. But where do you think he should at least get a shot at some position, right?
Sure, why not? He's an athlete.
Okay,
That's what
I
he
think
does.
he should get a shot at quarterback. Where do you think he should end up at?
I mean, hell, if he's going to play tight end, he could be a 4th, 5th string tight end anywhere. I mean, right here in D.C.
4th or 5th?
4th or
They
5th.
only keep 2 to 3 per team.
Exactly. What did I say?
This is our media expert over here.
Preseason freak show, my friend. Preseason freak show.
Well,
when
everyone
week
gets a shot in the preseason. I'm talking about the regular season.
He's not going to get one. he's not going to get one. This is the end of the end for him.
I pulled up all the teams here. And
By all means,
I'm just going down. It starts with the NFC East. What about Dallas or Philadelphia?
Can you really see him as a quarterback in Dallas or in Philadelphia? Philadelphia's had so much quarterback controversy. The last thing they need is to bring in another circus like Tim Tebow. Forget about it. Dallas, they've got enough controversy as it is. Tony Romo can't seem to get the job done late in the season or in big games. So why are you going to bring in a guy like Tim Tebow? Well, that's more of the circus.
Well, I hear all these reports about Tony Romo. They are whatever they are. But the thing about Tim Tebow is he is known for being clutch in the fourth quarter. He is known for coming up big at the biggest moments of the games. So why not bring him in?
Because he's Tim Tebow, and it's a bad move, Adam. Because it's a bad move.
Let's see who else we got here. Arizona's kind of struggling. They've been looking for a quarterback. What do you think about the Cardinals?
Andy Reid, can you seriously see him playing? I'm sorry, not Andy. Can you see? But it doesn't matter. No, he doesn't need a shot at quarterback anymore.
You don't even know the names of the coaches.
It doesn't even matter. They don't
embarrassing.
even have a coach right now, for goodness sakes. The bottom line is
they keep 55 tight ends, according to you as well.
They 127, okay?
New England, Josh McDaniels. The guy who drafted him, traded up to get him.
He's no longer with Josh McDaniels because Josh McDaniels doesn't want him there. He lost his faith in Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow needs to, I guess, start looking at catching I don't know. He's done. Go to the CFL, Tim Tebow. We're done with you in the NFL. CFL, okay?
I think he deserves a shot, and he deserves a shot at quarterback, and he's going to get it somewhere.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. But you know what? We're going to push pause on this. We're going to come back. We're going to revisit it, okay? We could spend like 4 segments on this, and I'm just going to get all fired up and spew nonsense because bottom line, Tim Tebow no longer necessary in the NFL.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you saying you're spewing nonsense.
It should be the
You are correct.
It should be the NTL, the No Tebow League. You hear me? No Tebow
Now
League.
you're just trying too hard.
I'm
this
not
is why you'll
trying
never
to-
get a girlfriend.
But shut up, Adam.
Hit a button. Hit a button.
You know what? Go screw. All right, here we go. We're going to change pace right here. We're going to talk about something else because I'm not going to talk about girlfriends. And I'm not going to justify
already got 3 kids.
that.
I'm good.
I'm not going to talk about Tim Tebow anymore. He's irrelevant. He's off my radar. One guy that I will talk about right now is the guy that just won another national championship down in Alabama. Talking about Nick Saban, sent my beloved Notre Dame Fighting Irish down in defeat in the national championship game. Heck of a college coach. Didn't work out very well for him in the pros. But Adam, is he another guy that could find himself back in the NFL at some point?
Now, I'm of the position that he should give it another try. He's done everything he can do in college. You know, but before he's done, he could easily be the greatest college football coach of all time. But maybe he doesn't want to have that label, greatest college football coach. Maybe he wants to be the greatest football coach of all time. I get the feeling or impression you think he should stay at college. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Stick to your knitting, man. If you come up to the pros and it doesn't work out, be humbled. There's nothing wrong with being the top college coach of all time. It's a pretty sweet gig. He's making millions at Alabama right now. And when his contract is up at Alabama, he can go somewhere else. And you know what he's going to do somewhere else? Make millions. Why? Because he's Nick Saban, a hell of a college coach. You put him up in the pros, he's what? Nick Saban.
Well, if he stays in college, he's not going to leave Alabama. He'll stay there. And if he wants to make millions, he can come the NFL. They can pay him a lot more millions than the college teams can. The thing is, he's a competitor, and he's already proven he is the best in the world at what he does, a la Chris Jericho, as far as being a college football coach. I think he's going to have that little itch. Maybe he won't do it this year, maybe not next year, but eventually he's going to get that itch, and he's going to want to get that little monkey off his back that was known as his NFL career in Miami was not great, not a secret, and he wants to prove, which I think he can, that he's a very good NFL football coach.
Do you know how fluky it is for a guy like Pete Carroll to have 2 failures as a head coach in the pros to finally get it on the 3rd go-round?
He's actually my perfect example. I mean, the guy, when he was at USC, he was the best coach in college football. They were dominating and just steamrolling people. He goes up to Seattle. Look what he's done with them. Why can't Nick Saban do the same thing? He's not going to not come to the NFL because he's scared of failure. That's just not what competitors do.
I believe you missed what I said. I said fluke. Fluke, as in doesn't happen very often, as in an enigma, as in there's no rhyme or reason for why this is actually happening. Perhaps just the sun and the stars and the moon all aligned, and somehow Pete Carroll is finding himself with some success in Seattle. Almost carried it over this past weekend against the Atlanta Falcons. But Nick Saban, hell of a college coach, nothing more than a Steve Spurrier in the NFL.
Well, real quick, back to Mr. Carroll.
Yeah.
You don't win games in the NFL. It's not a fluke. You win games by scoring 58 points, 50 points. You come into D.C. and you beat a team that had won 7 in a row. You go down to Atlanta, basically had them beat. Nothing about what happens in the NFL is a fluke, especially if you do it consistently throughout a year. I think Nick Saban, if he came back and was successful, would not be a fluke. It would just be a man who can do it at all levels.
I think that you're crazy. I think that you're looking at another prime example, like I just said, Steve Spurrier. This is a cat. He's going to come up. Okay, tell me this. Tell me this then. Here's my other argument. Suppose he does in 2 or 3 years, like you're suggesting, say, you know what? I've done all that I could possibly do in college. Let me give the NFL another try. If that doesn't work out for him then, if it doesn't pan out on the second try, then what? Then he heads off into retirement and he's got this big stain. His career is marred. He's not going to be happy with himself.
There's a reason why certain people make it and certain people don't. You don't not do something because you're scared of it. A competitor looks something in the eye and you punch her right in the mouth. You're not worried about it beating you or making you look bad. Nick Saban is a competitor. If he comes to the NFL, let's say it doesn't work out again. Maybe he tries a third time and is successful then, like Mr. Carroll. Or he just goes back to Alabama or any other school who'd be drooling over him to have him because he won a title at LSU, then oogles at Alabama, and he's going to win a title if he had to go to another school too.
Yeah, but then what other school is going to take him? Because you know then that he's just going to flirt with the pros again in a few years and leave.
No, because you know that he has tried twice and he probably doesn't want to try again, and then he'll stay there. And besides, what school wouldn't take 1 or 2 national titles and then let a coach leave?
Yeah,
who wouldn't take that?
True.
Especially Notre Dame. They would have just taken anybody who could catch or run.
I would be on board that train so freaking quickly. No
Chip
offense.
Kelly.
No offense.
I'm sorry, not Chip Kelly, your boy Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
He was flirting with leaving. What'd you think of that?
Well, it would have sucked. I think that he's building something special.
I agree with you.
Up there in South
Awesome
Bend.
recruiting classes.
But
he's going to turn them around.
I don't know. Bottom line,
already has.
What do you think? If Nick Saban were to leave college and go up to the pros, would he be successful in a second stint? More, where would he go? Tweet us at 4th and Pain with your thoughts. Adam, as always, you're wrong and I'm right, and we'll be right back.
Well, I think Chuck's just mad because we all have better hair than he does.